Welcome to Deep Cuff Channel. Ukrainian army's hammer can deal a big blow to the Russians. Russian army is helpless against the unstoppable power of Ukraine. Clashes on the front continue at full speed. Vladimir Putin gives important orders to his soldiers in Ukraine. It was a historic day in the Donetsk region. Will Belarus join the Ukrainian-Russian war? Ukrainian army has completed its plans to seize the Crimean Peninsula. The operation can begin at any moment. U.S. Army is closely following the war in Ukraine. Will Patriot systems be shipped to Ukraine? Russia warned the USA. Tension between the world's superpowers continues to rise. Successful operations of the Ukrainian army at the front continue unabated. According to the latest statement of the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, Russia lost 590 soldiers, 9 armored combat vehicles, 5 tanks, 12 artillery systems, 1 special military vehicle, and 27 tactical unmanned aerial vehicles in the last 24 hours. As you can see, the biggest share of these losses of Russia is undoubtedly Russian unmanned aerial vehicles. Ukraine continues to fulfill its mission of air defense shield successfully. Meanwhile, Russia tried to weaken the resistance in the region by launching a total of 31 air and 8 missile attacks on the southeastern regions under the control of the Ukrainian army. While the main target of the Russian army is the transportation and supply lines frequently used by the Ukrainian army, it is said that the command centers are also targeted. However, the Ukrainian army achieved great success by repelling all the attacks carried out by Russia in 6 regions. After this defensive success, the Ukrainians, who started a historic offensive, targeted the Donetsk region. Donetsk Mayor Alexei Kulymzin, appointed by Moscow, stated that this morning's missile and artillery attack was the largest since 2014. Although it is not clear who carried out the attack at the moment, the Ukrainian authorities did not make any statement on the subject. Russian army, which was badly damaged in the attack, took action to respond to the Ukrainians. Kyrylo Tymoshenko, vice president of the presidency of Ukraine, announced that the Russian army carried out organized attacks on many military installations in the Kherson region. Immediately after Tymoshenko's statements, the military commander of the Kherson province, Yaroslav Yanushevich, announced that the Russian army had attempted a total of 86 attacks on critical areas of the Kherson region. However, sources in the region state that the air defense systems in the city of Kherson are working very actively. After the Kherson attacks, Russia began to mobilize its troops in the Donbass region. According to the data of the regional military administration, the Russians do not intend to stop their attacks. Russian army targeted the Makiivka, Ploskinka, Nevsky and Bakhmut regions with its attacks at night. It was stated that the Russian army carried out a total of 45 missile and artillery attacks, while the defense forces of the Ukrainian army took quick action against these attacks of the Russian army. According to the latest news from the region, Ukrainian Air Force warplanes attacked a total of 13 regions and 5 anti-aircraft units under the control of the Russian army. It is stated that as a result of these attacks, all Russian soldiers in the targeted areas were neutralized. War is getting very difficult for Russia, which cannot prevent its losses at the front. Russia's troubles at the front are very important for the Ukrainian army on the road to victory. Recently, it seems that the Ukrainian army is in serious military preparation. Reason for this preparation is estimated by many military analysts as the attack of the Ukrainian army on the Crimean Peninsula. This attack, which is expected to be carried out by the Ukrainian army in the international arena, even has a new name, Kiev's Hammer. In this context, the winter season allows the Ukrainian army to quickly complete its preparations. Conflict largely reverted to the artillery duels that characterized the lull of the almost 10-month war. I think the Ukrainians are in a great position to move forward, said Mark Voiger, the former U.S. Army's special advisor in Europe. It is very clear that the next target of the hammer of Kiev is the Crimean Peninsula. Indeed, recent satellite images of Crimea obtained by independent satellite companies show airfields, air defense zones, and ships, which defense experts say could rank as prime targets for the Ukrainian military, whose forces Moscow is trying to weaken. Satellite images show that the airbase in Jankoy has become the main logistics center for Russia's operations in southern Ukraine. At the same time, this region is the center of the helicopters of the Russian army. In order for the Ukrainian army to seize the Crimean Peninsula, it needs an organized attack by air, land, and naval forces. Another factor here is the logistical problems experienced by the Russian army. We know that Russian leader Vladimir Putin regularly asks his allies for help in solving his frontline problems such as ammunition, troops, and equipment. Especially Belarus seems to be quite active lately for this reason. Other day, Belarus signaled that it could join the war by bringing several battalions of soldiers and tanks closer to the Ukrainian border. It is also a known fact that Belarus wants to increase the number of soldiers in its army by announcing a secret mobilization decision. However, according to Brigadier General Alexei Gromov, Deputy Chief of the Main Operations Department of the General Staff of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, Belarus is not in a position to attack the Ukrainian army. In parallel with Gromov's statements on this subject, the British intelligence also published a new research. According to British intelligence, the Russian and Belarusian army in Belarus is currently not a force that could pose a serious threat to Ukraine from the north. These statements of British intelligence began to increase the Ukrainian army's faith in victory. On the other hand, we said that in the USA, the sending of patriotic air defense systems to Ukraine is seriously discussed. By limiting the weapons it supplies to Ukraine to those that do not have the range or capability to strike Russian territory, the Biden administration has been careful to avoid bringing the United States into a more direct conflict with Russia and bringing NATO into the war. Therefore, the vast majority of systems supplied to Ukraine are for defense purposes. This situation has never bothered Ukraine until now. This is something Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has been seeking for months to strengthen his country's air defenses. However, when the idea of sending the Patriot systems to Ukraine emerged, the response from Russia was not delayed. Russia warned the United States on Thursday not to send a Patriot missile defense system to Ukraine, saying this raises the risk of Washington being directly involved in the ongoing conflict. Many experts, including those abroad, doubt that such a step is wise, as it would lead to an escalation of the conflict and increase the risk of direct involvement of the U.S. military in the conflict, said Maria Zakharova, spokesperson for the Russian ministry. Air defense systems available to the Ukrainian army are limited. Ukrainian S-300s can no longer stand as they did at the beginning of the war. Ammunition is running out, and the few remaining air defense systems are running out of missiles. Currently, Ukraine needs more ammunition than air defense systems. Amid reports that Washington is considering deploying the Patriot air defense system, France and Italy are considering the possibility of bolstering America's intentions by delivering the European SUMPT air defense system, nicknamed Mamba. Some experts believe that SUMPT is better than the American Patriot system. We will continue to follow the issue for you. We will continue to monitor the world and especially Ukraine. We'll see what happens in the next few days. We have reached the end of another video. You can support us by liking the video. You can easily follow new videos by subscribing. I wish you all a war-free day. See you.